Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Mika Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is Veganuary. We have several ways you can help me, help them, help the animals. One, we have a fundraiser going here on Twitch for just 10 British pounds. That's our goal. So if you can, please donate there. If you can't though, just watch my stream and bring your friends because I'll be making a donation of my own at the end of the month based on my unique viewers count here on Twitch. You can also find a link to Veganuary in my Twitch description, and if you're watching the recording on YouTube, it's in the description of that video. Today is Friday, which means it's Chibi Friday, and we are going to hopefully finish this chibi version of Steve the Otter. Last time I did Chibi Friday, which was last year, it's technically last month, but it's was also in 2024. So last year we got the sketch done, the inking done, the marker, and I think I might have wanted to resume with a little bit of extra inking, but what I'm seeing here looks great. I don't actually see any areas where it needs some extra ink, because even here on this little name tag, there's a little teeny tiny thicker line at the bottom to indicate shadow using ink. So I don't think there's any more ink to be done. That's why I've got out my Prismacolor, my big set of Prismacolor colored pencils, so we can start doing colored pencil work. Then we can do white ink highlights. Then we'll get this digitized, switch over to my PC workstation, my desktop PC workstation, and add the finishing touches using digital media. Specifically, I want to add the name Steve to the name tag using digital media, so it'll actually look like a printed, like work style name tag instead of a handwritten one, which doesn't look as professional. And then we might do little cleanup around the edges, but actually looks pretty clean around the edges. Maybe there's a couple spots here where I wasn't able to erase, the graphite stained the page and I couldn't erase it, so probably clean that up, but not too much cleanup work to do digitally. So to start, let's get the colored pencils out. And I never do enough self-promo, I don't think about it, but if you would like a chibi commission like this, they are available for purchase either on my DeviantArt page or on my Square shop. There's a link to the Square on my, let's see, this right, I'm pointing at it. Right there, that first one, studiomikarts.square.site, I think. It's so small I can't read it. I don't know it by heart, but yeah, if you'd like your own chibi caricature, they're available for purchase. Okay, so I'm actually going to need to switch my workstation a little bit. Okay, so Steve fits right there, so I don't need to move my main camera, but let's move this smaller camera. Oh, it's casting a shadow. I wish it didn't do that. So hard to arrange stuff. You're like seeing me. Oh, here we go. If I do it from the top, then it doesn't have quite as much shadow. There! Hooray! Okay. What do I want to start with? I have my reference image up. Got from my favorite free stock photo site, Pexels. Now at this point, I think I want to bring in some more highlights using colored pencil onto the body. So I think we'll just use white because that's what I found with on top of darker marker. Didn't know those words would rhyme when I chose them. white is the colored pencil to choose. That's what I found. So I think we'll just start at the top. There's some areas where I definitely want to use white ink because that'll be a lot stronger. But here on most of the fur, I just want to add some highlights that blend in. I don't need them to make a really strong impact. They're going to make a more subtle impact. And by using lines, little hatching lines, I'm not just adding light, I'm adding texture to his fur. Doesn't hit as much on his shoulder, but the light catches his arm here. So we'll add some here too. And then as we get to the middle of his body, a little bit more starting to come back in. And then down here at the top of his thigh. We can't actually see his tail in the, I say we, I can't actually see his tail in the reference image because it's covered by grass. So we're just going to use my imagination and my previous experience to add some highlights there. Add some on his nosy with the white. I was going to wipe it with my hand, but it's better to wipe it with a brush. There. That makes a huge difference. So now I think I want to add some more texture. Not really worried about shading as much. When I choose a darker color, try to get a little bit more fine texture in here. Let's see if this one shows up well, or if I need to choose a darker color. Yeah, it's mixing a little too well with this brown that I have below it. But now that I've done it in some areas, I'm going to do it in other areas too. Otherwise, it might look weird to have just a single little patch of this color and it doesn't appear anywhere else. Even if it is so subtle that you can barely tell it's there. In some areas it's showing up quite well, so it's not too bad. But let's do a darker one now. This will zoom out. I want to look for where are the darkest spaces on the body. It's all along here. This is the most shaded part of the person in the reference image that I'm using. So I'm not doing this for shading, But since I need to choose a color, I want it to match the area. I'm trying to add more texture, but it needs to match the places I'm putting it. Hopefully that makes sense. You're hearing that snoring, that's Aoife, my big dog. Here inside the ear I am adding more shadow. One of the darkest spots on the whole image. Here too is pretty dark. Let's add a little bit more down here too. In between his bottom legs. And let's do the tail right here too. Nice. Oh, the tie is looking a little underworked. Let's add some more detail. It's probably on purpose. I can't remember. It's been 3, maybe even 4 weeks since, because I took 3 weeks off, so I think it's been a month since I worked on this. I might have actually planned to add more dark with colored pencils because the tie is so thin, it's hard to get such thin lines out of the markers. Since this is the darkest spot on his fur, we're going to make this the darkest spot on the tie too, so that it matches. That shadow is affecting everything, not just magically only affecting his fur. Okay, let's do the yellow. It's got these yellow stripes. What's a good shadow color? Maybe this one. It's not small enough though. This tip is kind of blunt, so let's sharpen it. Not my favorite Ratchetta sharpener, which is my favorite because you don't have to keep taking your hand out or moving your hand off the pencil. You just keep ratcheting it, hence the name, and it gets sharp. Yeah, that's much better. We're doing the same thing with the yellow stripes. The darkest part is along this big S shadow here. And then it really helps with the light because we'll just leave this yellow part here as is and it looks so bright. Like bright and shiny. This light's really hitting it. We've got these other highlights here all working together to create the illusion of light. Let's put a little shading on this flower that he's all holding on to. As it gets closer to his hands, it should get darker. And maybe right here too, below the petals. Looking at what else might need some colored pencil work. We have some other smaller areas like this, his eye. Let's zoom in on the eye in the reference photo. Let's see. Oh yeah, we had some blue in his eye, and I can't tell if it's because of the blue of the sky or maybe just the way the camera picked up this data when it took the photo. This is clearly a digital photo. You can see that sort of, when you're zoomed in this close, you can see the pixelization that happens with the different colors. There's a word for it. Anyway. So it could just be a trick of the camera, but it does make it more interesting looking. So let's just add it anyway. I don't want it to be too bright. Let's see if this is a good color, but again, it's pretty blunt, so let's sharpen it first. A little bit more. Ah, that's good. Not like that. Oh, I was afraid of that. When I pulled off those extra little sharpener shavings, the tip came out. So let's sharpen it again. That's an unfortunate occurrence with colored pencils, and it's pretty common. It's because this, I yanked on it and it didn't come out. It happens because the core is rather delicate in these pencils, and so if it gets dropped or any sort of impact occurs for whatever reason, it can get cracked inside, sort of like a fracture for your bone or whatever. And so the wood is fine, but then when you get to the waxy core and you sharpen down to that point, it's cracked, so it just comes right out. Little bits. I don't like little bits being... Almost knocked all my colored pencils down. There. I was holding it this time, so when I whacked it, it was fine. Okay, let's try adding this blue. It's around his iris. Oh yeah, whether or not it's just a trick of the lens, it looks really cool, so worth it. And there's not very much of this either. Just a little touch. That's it. But still, look at, that's so much more dynamic. That's so much more interesting. Realize this camera is casting shadow. I thought I had found a good spot for it, but it just keeps casting shadow. If I put it like this and turn the head up really high. Not really seeing the drawing anymore though. Dang, I can't figure out how to make this little camera work. Right, what if I do it like this? It's because this light is over here. What if I do that? Oh, that's better. That's a bit better. All right, That's gonna have to be good enough. I don't want to spend the whole stream trying to figure out my lights and my cameras. Okay, next. Since I added that blue, I actually do see maybe like a pinkish or an orange color. Let's go with pink. Let's do something like this. It's like a pinky orange color. Coral maybe. What is the official one? Rouge Pavot. Oh, poppy red. Has both French and English. I'm actually seeing this around here too. Just a tiny little touch. Hardly noticeable. We'll put that in there too. And then there is what might be the white of the eye. It's hard to tell, but there's a little something here. So just add that in there with the white colored pencil. And the rest of his eye is actually quite dark. It's much darker than what I've done, in fact. So I'm gonna add some black colored pencil to darken it up. And let's make the visible part a little more rich in color by adding a warmer color here. That's pretty good. His eyes still look lifeless, but they'll come to life the minute we put a little boop highlight. So but that's the last thing. Gotta get all the colored pencil stuff done first. Which we're really close. I might be ready to start adding purple to the shadowy areas, which is always my final colored pencil step. I'm looking at my reference image now. See if there's anywhere else. I guess I'm gonna add a little bit more texture on his belly because it's got this sort of dot texture from the markers. I didn't do very much with colored pencil on there. Just a little bit of white and that's it. I don't want to make it too dark. So what's a good color? Let's try this one. No, I don't know. Let's try it. Let's just try it. Try it at the edge. It is a lot darker than I'll just do it along the edge here. It's a little too dark to add everywhere, as in all over texture color, but okay, let's try this one next. It's also fairly dark. It's not as bad though. Well, bad. It's not bad, but it's not quite what I was hoping to get. But I am overall getting more texture, so that's good. Let's try this one. I feel like it's not going to make much of an impact, but maybe I'll be surprised. Well, it depends on the area. Some places it is actually showing through and adding that texture that I want. But I think I need to go back to this color. That is overall better. Maybe now I can bring in a little bit more white. So we've got reflected light coming from the ground, lighting up his belly. And maybe under his chin too. And I suppose didn't really take this white highlight all the way across his head, even though I zoom in, but I am seeing this on his, yeah, I need a little bit more of this white highlight here. I'm like a little right here on his nosy. Oh, that's way better. Yay. Oh, and there's like a patch right here that's being lit up too, because the light curves around his eyebrow right here. I already had this part, but I'm going to expand it a little bit. I could do a little bit more on his cheek. There's not really that much texture happening there. Yeah, that looks way better. It was standing out a little bit too much before. In a similar vein, this is also not as textured as the surrounding areas, even though his fur is a consistent texture from top to bottom. So I'm gonna add a little bit here too. What about his hands? They've got a lot shorter fur, so they're a bit different. Could add a little bit more though, right here. A little bit more colored pencil texture on the wrists. Well, the one wrist, because the other one is so far on the other side, it doesn't need any work. It's barely visible. And the name tag I am completely happy with as it is. Don't need to add anything there. I mean, I might add some white highlights digitally after I add the name digitally, and then that way it'll look like it's plastic. It's printed on shiny plastic. If I add the highlight now, I'm just going to make a bunch of extra work for myself trying to make the text look like it's under it, so we'll just save the highlight for that we'll save that highlight for digital media. I don't really want to mess with the petals or the middle part of the flower. except for to do a little bit of that purple I was talking about. But I always save that for last. That's the last thing I do with color pencil. So I think I'm done. So I'm done with everything except my favorite thing. Where's the purple that I like to use a lot? You can always tell because it's the shortest purple I have. It must be this one. Ah, my gaff tape. Okay. Sorry about banging that camera, but I needed to look and make sure. Yep, this is my shortest purple, so this has got to be it. It's called Violet de Parma Violet. Okay. Isn't it sharp enough? Should I sharpen it? I think it's okay. It's not too bad. It's not as blunt as some of those other ones, and I'm not trying to get a super precise teeny tiny line here. I'm mostly just adding patches. So what I do with this is areas where it's the darkest shadow, lightly add purple on top. And it just creates this amazing dynamism within the shadow, which is, even now, even though I've been doing this forever, it's still so surprising to see the effect. And the thinking behind it, when I learned this idea from a fellow artist on DeviantArt ages ago, and they are no longer on. I'm pretty sure it was from Jenny Dolphin, who I have some prints from because she makes really beautiful Star Wars and Lord of the Rings fan art. I'm pretty sure it was her. She said that because the sun is yellow, purple is the complementary color to yellow. That means the opposite on the color wheel. And so shadows look good with purple. Because the sun is yellow, so shadows in nature in general on planet Earth are purple. We expect them to be purple tinged. Or at least cool tinged. And ever since I read that on one of her pieces, I was like, yes, and started doing it, and I never stopped because it's totally correct. It totally makes a huge difference. Even though at first glance you might not notice that it's the case, that it's there, but I think that's why it's so effective, because it just adds to our natural expectation of what something should look like. Okay. I just wanted to take a look at that. There's still a few places to add, like on the tie. Also, I think adding this purple to every color, or nearly every color, just helps unify the image too. So we've used all these different colors everywhere, but then they all have this purple on them. So it helps them cohere. Some area right here, I want a little black right in his nostril. That should be black, 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 because it's just a hole in his nose. There's no light coming in there. There we go. Oh, much better. I wonder if I should do his pupil too. Yeah. Pupil is also just a hole in his eye. That's where the light goes in. Obviously it doesn't come back out, otherwise we wouldn't be able to see. Maybe I'll add a little bit under his eyelid too. got that blue, but it's not, it's actually so vibrant. It makes his eye look like it's popping out of his head. So let's add a little shadow here under the top eyelid. Show that the eyelid is on top of his eye and not being pushed back by a bulging eyeball. Did I add any purple to the eye? So add just a little bit. Yeah. This point is probably the funnest part of any piece, when you're just working out those little teeny tiny final details. Just looking him over now, I think I might be done with colored pencil. Maybe add a tiny bit in this area here where it's being shaded by the name tag, by his arms, by his tie. But I don't want it to be too obvious. It's going to be very, very light. Very, very light touch. Okay, let's call it good for colored pencils. Put my big kit back away. I use gaff tape on the sides of my colored pencil and similar cases like this. This one I just taped on, so it's like a hinge. And then this one I made myself a little flap so I can grab it and then pull it off. And I did that because I figured out it's really easy to knock these cases on the floor, and then your 120 colored pencils go flying everywhere, and also the cords get broken like I mentioned. So keeping it taped with gaff tape, which is this nice in-between masking tape or painter's tape being removable, and like duct tape being sturdy and having a strong adhesive. So it's removable. I mean, it does leave residue, especially if you leave it on for a really long time. But for this purpose, for my colored pencils, it's perfect. Okay, so next I need my drawing kit. You heard a big snort. That was Aoife. Don't worry, Chappie. Chappie's looking up at me like, you're getting up? Are we leaving? No, we're not leaving, Chappie. No, I just had to get up to get this sketch kit. So what I want are my white pens. You hearing that? If you heard that just now, Chappie was digging at her bed to make it more comfortable for herself. That's what that digging sound was. Okay, so I have 3 sizes of pen. These 2 are gel pens. And this is 05, which is like a medium size. And then I have this, what is this one? Yeah, this one says wide on it. And this is actually an acrylic marker. So these ones are gel, this is acrylic, and it's a lot bigger. I don't know what the size it says is, but I could just show you, like, it's way bigger. And I think I'm actually going to use this one on the eye, because one, the eye is so big, and two, I put so much colored pencil in the eye. The gel pens do not like to go on top of colored pencil. They bead up, or they just won't exit the pen. So at the very least, I'm going to start. I'm going to zoom in on my reference to see where the highlight should naturally rest. It's at the top of the eye. I'm going to start with the acrylic marker, and then maybe I'll round it out and make it more precise with the gel pen, or I could do that with the computer in a minute. We'll see what I think. Oh, there, I told you. I told you! Putting the highlight in the eye would make him come to life. Oh, it's so cute. He's so cute. He's alive now. He's alive now. Okay, I've seen a little bit of light on this bottom corner of his eye. So I got some there. I love this part. This is the best, most rewarding part. I want to add a little bit more here, but like I said, it doesn't want to come out. I got a tiny bit, so that's all right. It's the waxy medium of the colored pencil. Prevents the water-based medium of the gel, and the acrylic is all right, even though acrylic is water-based too, but the gel pen just doesn't want to come out. I think gel pen has water in it. I don't know. I don't exactly understand the gel medium. I know it was invented in Japan. I learned that from jet pens. Love jet pens. I get my planner from there, and a lot of the writing pens that I use, I get that from them. I might turn these down. Now that I've added these highlights on here, it's a little bit too much. I might turn them down with some Photoshop editing, but let's see, where else do we need a really bright highlight? Could add just a touch on the name tag. Not where the name is gonna go. Just in, like, in the corner. This little tiny touch. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce that. It's a little too much. It's a little too shiny. I don't think there's anywhere else that really needs a stark white gel highlight. Just looking back and forth from this image to my reference image, which is on my secondary monitor over there. And maybe I could put a little touch on the white or on the yellow part of his tie, just in the areas where it's really bright anyway. I need a scrap paper. The gel ink is getting cakey on the end of my pen, so I use this scrap paper to sort of wipe it off. There. I don't know if you can see that. It starts drying on there, and then it starts coming off on your picture, and you don't want that little flaky cakey stuff. Alright, right here is what I was trying to add. Just a little bit, just a tiny touch. Maybe I should just go to a smaller. Go to my smaller pen. Yeah, that's not bad. Could put just a couple dots in the middle of the flower. Just for visual interest. Maybe indicating pollen or something like that, but also just looks nice and makes the flower look a little more, a little stronger in the, against everything else. Has more character now. Yeah, okay. I'm done with physical media. I'm not done with the image though. Now, we've got to, I guess I don't have to put my stuff away yet. We've got to get this digitized and, uh-oh, a big pile of stuff on my scanner. So give me a second. I'm gonna clean it up. Do my best. Okay, let's see. Glasses, case. Is there room in here? Yeah, what do you know? There's even glasses in here that don't have a case. Alright. Y'all go in this case. There's actually 2 pairs of glasses in here. I stopped wearing glasses because my vision is not as good as it used to be, especially when I was really young, but it's not bad enough for glasses to make a difference. So I gave up on trying to wear them. So I have this big collection of, I don't know, 5 or 6 years plus of glasses. Okay. Not that put away. Okay, let's see. What am I going to do with this? For anyone who's been watching my stream since November, December, might remember me saying that I wanted to take a full 3 weeks off so that I could get for the holidays, I mean, so that I could get my studio tidied up. I did actually make some good headway, but then other things started coming in, Kickstarter rewards and other things that I ordered for organization, but I never actually unpacked them out of their boxes. So my this studio is only slightly more tidy than it was before. So that's why I'm having to clean this off before I can switch over. But now it's cleaned off, so I'm going to turn on my scanner and start getting stuff moved over to my digital workspace. But you still got that nice view of Chibi Steve the Otter. Let's see, I need okay, I've got to move some of this stuff. Okay. I need my keyboard, my mouse. Wow, at this rate, I'm also going to be able to start my next Chibi. I still have 3 more in the queue. Gifts and rewards. Alright, get my scanning software up. And move my microphone over to my digital workspace. So I'm going to mute it for a second. Okay, I'm back. Now, I'm taking Chibi Steve. Chibi Steve! Oh, you know what? I didn't sign this. This is one of the few things that I sign these days. Because in my illustration classes, I learned that actually for illustrations, you don't have to sign it the way that you're expected to sign for a more fine art gallery style piece. So I stopped signing a lot of stuff. I only sign these anymore. And this is my first one of 25. Oh, look at it. Hooray! There, now we're bringing him over to get digitized, and I shall move my, well, not move, but change my source here from, let's see, PC desktop. Here we go. There we go. Hooray! Okay. So first thing, I swipe off the image really well with my brush to get as much dust or pet hairs or any little particles that might be on the surface of the image. And I also swipe the glass from my scanner and then lay the image in the scanner, close the lid. Okay. First, preview, that means preview. Alright, preview's done, so let's just move this marquee so that it encompasses the image more tightly, because there's no point scanning all this extra stuff. It just takes up time, takes up bytes on the hard drive, and there's no need for that, so we will do that and also rotate it. The nice, I think that says Kaiten, rotate. I mean, I know it says rotate, but I'm not sure about the pronunciation. I think it's Kaiten though. Okay, that looks good. Let's click scan. Guess while it's scanning, I'll get Photoshop opened. And we're getting so close to break time that once I get this file opened in Photoshop, I'll just go ahead and go on break because it's a nice timing. Ooh, the fans are ramping up a bit on my PC tower. Okay, that's done, so we can close this, turn off the scanner, and get the image out so that I can stamp it later. I have a copyright stamp that I put on the back of my finished physical pieces, and then I write what I made it with, the media, and the date, and the title. But I won't do that now. So let's just get this open in Photoshop. Open with. Maybe I'll show that later if I finish this and go back to physical media to start a new Chibi. Welcome to Camera Raw. This is the first time I've used Camera Raw since I had to reinstall with a clean without any preferences because of that dang printer issue that Photoshop has. We'll open this. We don't even need Camera Raw for this one. No, I don't need that. Thank you. Okay. Let's save it and then we'll go for a break. So, save, I think, is what we want. Yes. Let's put it in my career files, visual art, artwork. Oh, this is so exciting. It's time to make the new folder for 2024 because it's no longer 2024. We're going to move all of this stuff. Oh, I can't do it. I have to do it this way. I'm going to do it in here. So, visual art, artwork. And we're going to move all of this 2024 stuff. Oh, this is better anyway because this is only showing Photoshop files. Goes in the 2024 folder. Wow. Look at all of these. Look at how long. This is when I started doing. Look at this. This is so old. This is from high school, 2001. No, 2001. Yeah, it was my first year of high school. Last year of junior. Look at this old image. It's so old. And then these ones, I've got some from when I was a kid. Oh, this one's from junior high. And this one's from, like, I don't know, 3rd grade. This is 2nd or 3rd grade. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. It's so exciting to see, like, your work. It just grows and grows, and each year you make a new folder, or at least I do. Okay, but I'm done with that. What I'm trying to do is save this so I can go on break. So I name it with a date, which is year, month, and day, and we're gonna call it Chibi Steve the Otter for Mom. And we've got the profile in there. Excellent. Save. Yay. Okay, so this is saved. And it's time to go on break. So I am going to turn on my Be Right Back sign. I encourage everyone else to also take this opportunity to get up and walk around, stretch, give your eyes a break, get a drink, a snack. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you had a great break. I am all refreshed, stretched. I got my yummy juice shake, so I also have some delicious nutrition flowing through me. And I am ready to resume work on Chibi Steve the Otter. You also might notice I moved my little camera for the time being to point at Eva, so you can see her in the bottom right for now. So I figured that wasn't looking at anything, and it's really easy to move. It's the most mobile of my 3 different cameras. So the first thing I'm going to do here is adjust the levels. And this is because I purposefully scan with less contrast than there is in real life, because I found my scanner can take it too far and things will be way darker than they are in real life and way brighter than they are in real life. So I scan it less contrast so that I can then control it and bring it up to a level that I find satisfactory. And then definitely for a digital version, I like to make the whites very white, because in a digital space, it's really obvious and it looks even kind of dirty when the edge here, which I will cut around, I'll cut most of this white out, but if this edge is still kind of yellow looking from the scan, or even if the paper itself is actually sort of yellow tinted or cream tinted, it just looks dirty in a digital space. So that's why I actually take the white really, really far. And the black, I don't want to take it too far, but I do want a nice amount of contrast. So if I take it too far, for instance, look at this. The eye just disappears. All that lovely work I did in there disappears. We don't want to take that too far. But we do want a whole range from dark blackest black, which it looks like we're getting right here, all the way to the brightest white possible, which it looks like we've got here. We can work with the mid-tones too to bring a little brightness back to them. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm also looking over here in the navigator. It's very helpful to have a smaller version to look at the same time. So I can see what the overall effect is, and then here in the center of the screen I can see more of the details. So let's call that good. Yay! Oh shoot, I didn't do what I usually do, which is make a copy of the background before I edit that. But it's okay because I have the original TIFF image that I scanned. So worst case scenario, that one is still available untouched. For now, I'll have this separate background copy. So the next step is cut this out. We'll see if these smarter tools can do it. They have gotten really good here on Photoshop with these kind of tools, but they're not 100%, and I usually have to do a little tweaking even so. So let's see. Make sure it knows. I want the middle part too. There's a different tool that does it slightly differently, but this is the one I clicked on, so let's try this one. Is it working, or is it doing anything? Huh. This is not doing what I thought it would. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. That was a waste of time. That's not what I wanted. Where's the one I like? There's plain old lasso. Where's the one I like? Oh, it's under this menu. Gosh. This is new, this thing. Selection brush tool. It's not useful for my workflow. Object selection or quick selection? Quick selection, this is what I thought I was doing, which is this. Oops, I selected a big spot that I didn't want. Okay. This is what I thought I was doing with that other tool. And I was not doing what I was doing. These little... Ugh, no. It's not working. I can't get those whiskers. It confuses it so much. Let's not try this. Let's do the object selection tool. This is what I need. Boop. So we get that. And now, let's see. I think what I can do is hold down shift and select that. Hold down shift. Select those. Oh, it only got one of them. Come on, man. Unbelievable. Fine, I will just hand and do these ones. Okay. Is this a selection movie? Ah, it didn't do the name tag. Shift. I do want this name tag. Thank you. I'm making sure. Oh, look, it didn't get this little piece here. I want that part. And I want this part. Still not quite smart enough. Not quite smart enough. Okay, so I've got the main selection, so that's good. So next I'm going to modify the selection to expand it by 10 pixels. And then I shall, let's see, I've got to rearrange my space a little bit here. Move my mouse and keyboard to my right so that I can pull my tablet down. My big Wacom 31 or something. Wacom Cintiq. It's a monitor. So you're drawing right on it. It's the most natural way you can use a tablet. You're drawing on the screen. There's not that disconnect between drawing on the pad but you're looking at the screen. Anyway, what I'm going to do is use the lasso tool now. Good old classic lasso tool. I need to hold down shift, which I've mapped to this key on my remote, and just draw the outline. Maybe I need to zoom in a little bit more. So I want to make it about the same distance away from these lines as it is from the rest of the lines. So I'm eyeballing it, but trying to make it about the same. Since it's not smart enough to grab these on its own. Just holding down shift the whole time, which adds the selection to my existing selection. Almost there, maybe halfway done. That's pretty tight right there. I think I'm going to bring that back out. Two in the same selection here. Oh, and I think it's going to happen again. one here. Beep. Oh, once again, it's a little too tight on that outside. Oh, just some little tips right here. Boop. 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 Last two, I think. Oh, nope, that's not good. Let's try that one again. Nice. Okay, anywhere else? It's so weird. It did a great job grabbing this. I guess it's thicker lines. I think I've got selected everything I want and nothing that I don't want. Maybe I'm gonna make these a little bigger. There, that's better. I wish my chair didn't creak. It didn't creak when I first got it a few months ago. Now it creaks whenever I lean to side. Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna lift my tablet back up into regular monitor position. Bring my keyboard and mouse back in front of me. And now we're going to Control X to cut, Control V to paste. That's weird. Usually Control V pastes in the center. Control All to select all. Yeah, that's so weird. It usually pastes directly in the center, but it didn't do it. Auto select layer. I don't think I like that. Turn that. All my preferences went away because of that issue I had with the printer again. And so now I'm trying to remember which, so it's like, I don't think I want that. Yeah, I don't want that. There's all these little teeny tiny preferences. I have to change them all back. Ah, this. I don't like this either. I don't like it put in this square. This is a visual distraction for me. It makes it hard to concentrate. Show layer bounds on hoverness. Show hover bounds. No, I don't want to see any of that stuff. Oh, okay. It's hard enough to concentrate without all of these little things popping up at me, bells and whistles. I think they mean well. I think they're trying to help, but for my process and what I use Photoshop for, it actually is the opposite effect. I have to turn all these things off every time because the only way to solve that printer issue is to reinstall with no preferences because the issue is in your preferences. And after all these years, they still haven't fixed it. So many people reporting the problem. Oh well. Okay, so next I want to work a little bit with these highlights that I've done. This one here, you can see these little dark spots here. That's just the way the ink dried. But since we're doing digital work anyway, we can clean it up and make it even more even. And then here, this ended up being a little too bright, so I'm going to change this to be more subtle. Yes, and we want to add the name to the name tag. There's some areas like right here where we could clean up a tiny bit because this is a tiny area. It's hard to keep the marker in the area you want it to be. Down here I wanted to clean up a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Right here on these claws. Okay. So I was just taking inventory of the things I want to do. So let's just start from the top. And for this, I do think I want to use my tablet again. Pulling that back down. And I'll just make a new layer and we'll name it Highlights. Okay. And let's pull the color from here. Let's see, Alt. Wolf taught me this a while ago. Oh, it's not working. Oh, it's because I'm not on the brush. So you have to be on the brush. And then you hold Alt, and then it will be the color picker. So as you can see, as I'm moving around here, it's not pure white right here. So I'm just going to select a color from there and then start painting over. I'm not trying to make it super perfect because then it won't match with the rest of the organic lines elsewhere. But I do want to round it out more than it is. Okay, that's good. So here, there are some different ways I can deal with this. I'll try, see if I can use the burn tool, choose highlights, see if I can do anything with this. So we want this one. Oh, I hate how this looks. This menu is all messed up. Well, why is it not responding? Oh, there we go. It wasn't listening to my... So we want soft round pressure size. We'll see if we can... Oh, it's because I'm on the highlights layer. Of course, it's not going to do anything there. Okay, go back. Wait, since when do I have highlights copy? Whoops, I accidentally made highlights copy. That's weird. Must have clicked something by accident. Okay, put that one in the trash. There. Okay. Dang squeaky chair. Blast it. Okay, now we're going to try this on the main layer. Doesn't seem to be working. It's making it gray though. I don't know if that's what I want. I wonder if I can use the healing tool. I think this is a spot healing brush tool. Let's see if I can use that to just remove these. Well, I can, but I wish it didn't add more brown there. What if I do this? I do that. Ah, no! I do that. It's not smart enough to follow the black line. If I do that. Okay, we're getting there. And you know what? I bet that awesome brush I created is gone because I had to uninstall everything. And we'll try this pencil brush. Selecting a color from here. Once again, this was black ink, but in reality it's not pure black. I'm just trying to bring back these lines that I had before. This is working pretty well. Let's save real quick. Don't show again. That's just another one of those things that have to look at that again because it doesn't remember that I told it not to show me that before. Alright, that's better. Yay! Okay, moving on. So here, I got a little bit too much of that white. It just brings it back. I wanted to get rid of that white. It doesn't get rid of it though. Brings more in. Okay, I'm going to use a different tool, which is the healing brush tool, and you hold down Alt for this one. Select your patch yourself, and then you can draw it. This is a little big though. Let's make the size smaller. So it's not looking like it usually does when I do this. Spacing, hardness is max. Maybe it's the spacing. Size, pen, pressure. Okay. It always feels like I'm figuring out a brand new program. It's like it's not selecting it. It's not doing anything here. What the heck? Why is it not? It's like, maybe it's use legacy I need to do? It's not behaving the way I expect. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. Oh, that's it. Oh. Why Photoshop? No, why is it bringing it back? It was working the way I thought, and then it's still doing this blurring thing. I don't want it to do that. I want it to just cover it up. It's so frustrating. Why do they gotta do it that way? What is going on? Size, pen pressure. This is definitely the tool. Yeah, you see that? It's just blending it in, which I do not want it to do. I want it to have a sharp edge. I don't see an option to make it not do that. Normal replace? Maybe replace is what I need? Okay. We're all learning together here. How did Photoshop change this tool without explaining it to anyone? Ah! Okay. Figured it out. Needs to be on replace, otherwise it's going to automatically blend it in. This is so frustrating. They make so-called updates, but they don't explain that they've changed this tool. So then you try to use it, and as you just saw, it's just confusion. What's going on? Why isn't this working the way I expected? Photoshop. I've got this love-hate relationship. I say it all the time. It's true. I mean, it is so good. Photoshop really is good. Okay, I'm going to go on the highlights layer. Back to the highlights layer. Let's see, what do I have to do? Okay, go on the paintbrush, then you hold Alt, and then you can select a color. And I want, actually, I'll keep it on this pencil brush. That worked really nicely. So I just want this highlight to be a little more solid. and round. We'll do the same thing here. And same thing here. Let's get a little color from here. Bring this back. Yeah. Right there is all right. I'll leave that. Man, I thought I would have this done in a jiffy, but it's taking a lot longer than I expected. Actually, I'll use this tool again. This part. Oh, right. I have to be on this layer to do it. That way I get the texture too, not just the color. Here, I'm going to go back to color. Clone stamp tool is actually what I wanted, and that's why I was confused, because it was a different tool I was using. So it's my bad. Oh yeah, it was my bad. Still, I was able to make that other tool do what I thought it would do. Just makes it confusing. Okay, I still have the color for the nails that I used up top, so I'm going to use them down here. dark right here. There's a little gap in the line here too. There, that's better. That's better. Oh, that's looking really good. Yeah, I'm glad I took away that highlight on the ear. That was just a little bit too much. I guess this should be nail color down here. This one ended up being mostly fur color. Excellent. Let's save. The name tag. I'm going to work on the black lines a little bit. It looks a little too thin here. Maybe I'll bring a little bit back on the top, on the clip. So, select this color. Oops, this is too dark. Darker color here. I think that looks better. The name tag is so important, so even though it's a very small element, I want it to look really nice. So the name tag is what makes this Steve the Otter rather than any other business otter that it might be. The lines down here at the foot are a bit inconsistent, so I'm going to work those a little bit. Oops, let's get this darker color. So right here we have this black line coming in over the toe, but it's not happening so much on these other toes. So let's just add it to the rest so that it looks more consistent across all the toes. How's that look? Save. It's a lot better. Maybe this dark on this side of this toe. It's also a little too much. We'll use the clone stamp. Okay, so clone stamp is what I want. I was misunderstanding what was going on. That's why I was confused. Oops, not on highlights. Copy though. Oh, oops. Alright, there we go. Oh, I'm catching a little bit of light there. Right there. How's that? Looks good. That's better. Now the toes look a bit more consistent across the foot, the way they're inked. Okay, let's add, I think this looks really good. So let's add the name Steve to the name tag and make it actual Steve. So, need a new layer. Well, I'll put it under highlights copy because we're going to add some highlights on top of the name. We're going to use this type tool. Let's do the classic Arial. Type Steve. And then we just got to adjust the size. So, oh wait. You know what I need? What do I see? Character? Yes, that's what I want. Oh, the fans on my tower are ramping up again. That's too small. What's this? It's a little too small still. There used to be a way you could... this. Oh, it's not working. Do I have to select it? Yes, I do. So I want to apply a style. I think this... I want arc or arch? I want arch. That's way too much though. Just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. Oh, yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Yes. Now maybe I want to make the text taller. Just to fill the space better. I think I'm gonna have to do a transform on it too. But this is looking really good, so let's see if I can do a transform or if I have to rasterize it first. So I want to skew, I think. Oh, no, that takes it back. That's not what I want. Warp? Ah! Ah! It only lets me do that. It's close. I think I have to rasterize the layer. Okay. Looking at this name for so long, it's starting to not look like a name. It's starting to just look like lines. I haven't even been looking at it that long. Okay, so I've rasterized the layer, and now I should be able to do a transform that is more distort or perspective. Warp is what I... Oh, this is what I want. Pretty sure. Oh, this is a little bit too specific. What I can do with this... Oh, this might actually be great. Ah! It is a little too much. Hold on. I just want to change this a little bit. Let's see. Let's try a different... Does distort what I want? Oh, distorts what I want. I just want to move the top left and then the bottom right, I think. see what that looks like. Oh, perfect. Perfect! Yay! And already we have the effect starting to happen that I wanted, which is the highlight coming over the top of the name, which will make it look like this name is printed on and it's a plastic name tag or laminated or something. So we're going to go on to the highlights layer again. Pull down my tablet again. So I'm going to use my stylus for this and hand draw it. Dang squeaky chair. Okay. I'll try using the same brush I've been using because it's giving me a nice texture that matches fairly well so far. The texture of this paper and the materials on it. I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to follow the lines that I already created for shading with gray marker. Yes, this is perfect. This is so exciting. These little details like this are so exciting. Zoom out, see what the overall effect is. Ah! Awesome. Let's take it a little farther. See what it looks like with. Okay, maybe that's too far because now it looks like it says sleeve. Not what it's supposed to say. It's supposed to say Steve. We'll just do a little bit right here. A little extra touch here. A little extra touch here. Alright, I think what I'll do is erase a little bit now. We want a soft round pressure size, I think. It's a little too much. So I'm going to turn the opacity down so it doesn't erase so much. Just want this little cross here for the T to be a bit more visible so that it's clear. Even with this nice highlight making it look like a plastic name tag, still want to be able to see that it says Steve. That's pretty good. So maybe what I'll add is a little bit more of this thinner highlight. It's over here. Thin but wide. Thin but wide. Thin in one sense, wide in a different sense. Thin, I meant translucent. Wide, I meant in size, area that it covers. It's just, I realized that what I said didn't make sense. Whoa, that's not what I meant to click. Woohoo. think that's pretty good. We can still see that it says Steve. I guess I'll bring a tiny bit of the S back at the top of the letter. But overall, I think we've got the effect of it being a reflective material. Eraser, that's what I want. But also being able to see what it says. Let's save real quick. Maybe I want to bring more highlight. A little bit conservative right here on this secondary line. Oh, that's better. Save again. Keep saving. No. Just want to take a tiny bit away. No, which is better? The way I had it or what I just did? Before, after. Actually, I like it before. I like it before better. I'm spending so much time on this, but I really want to get it right. Maybe what I need is I need this highlight to come all the way across this S here. I wish this eraser didn't. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a textured eraser. Kyle's eraser, natural edge. That's what we want. Nice textured eraser. Ooh, it's very. Dang squeaky chair. I wonder if I can WD-40 it. Ah, yay. Okay, I like that. Save again. Save again. Bringing a little bit too much attention to itself right here in this little corner. Such a small thing, but when the name tag is so important. Is this good? Am I done? Am I done? Okay. Well, I'm done with the drawing part, but there's still more to to do, which is perfect because there's still 5 more minutes in the stream. So, first, let's make a copy. Oh, well, actually, let's make a folder and put these layers all in it. Call it final. Then we'll make a copy of the folder and where is it? Merge group so that it becomes its own single layer. Then I think actually we can crop this a little bit. We don't need all that extra space around it. That is just bytes taking up space on my hard drive. So even though it's a tiny little bit, but when you have, as I showed earlier in the streams, in this stream, decades of artwork stored, it starts to take a toll. So let's see, where's my... Oh no, there's another one. Here's another one I have to change the settings for. Use classic mode. Yes. So classic mode. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So right now it's snapped to mostly to the outside edges, but I don't want it that tight. I wonder if I can make it bigger by just like saying, get 5 pixels bigger. Generative expand. No, I just wanna. Oh, I'll just pull it. I'll just eyeball it. And then I'll center it again. Oh yeah, that wasn't even snapped. This one's snapped. You want a little bit of space. You want to let the drawing breathe, but there. That's probably good enough. I'm not even going to center it again. That's close enough. Okay, save again. And first I'm going to save 2 copies of this because this is a birthday present for my mother-in-law, and so I'm going to send her the, let's see, not print, save a copy. First we're going to save the JPEG version. Wait, cancel. We don't want this huge image. This is way too big. So I save them at 1,000 pixels, I think. Let's see. Let me check this against some that I've done previously. Visual art, artwork, 2004. Oh, my new 2004 folder. Okay. Okay, so this one that I made for my friend at the beginning of last year. Yes, 1,000 pixels. So we're going to make this 1,000 pixels on the longest side, which is a much more manageable size. But you can still see all the details quite clearly. And we're going to save copy. This will be the JPEG version. And call it, even though it says for mom in the title, I'm going to call it for mom as well, so that this particular file is for sending to her. And put it on max. This is yet another setting that got lost when I had to do the reinstall, so I always want to save at max quality. So click OK. And then we're going to save a ping as well, so it has a transparent background. Save copy. Dot ping. And this one is for mom too. For mom, for mom. Okay. Alright, but that's not all, so we're going to take back that image size change and make this smaller so we can see it properly. And I bet I'll have to import my shapes. Custom shape. Yep, it's got these ones, but not my custom ones, so let me try to find import shapes. I believe it's under my career files. Text stuff. Yes, Adobe Photoshop custom shapes. There we go. Yay! So I want this one, my seal. So this is going to be for displaying on the internet at large. So I just add this little seal so that if someone finds this image somewhere and it's not one of my actual sites and they're wondering who made this or whatever, then it's got that info on it. Where's the... another thing that I have to find. Let's see, it's not paragraph, it's... Properties. Otter. Didn't open anything. There's a way to change how that looks. I'm trying to find it. Shapes. Oh, no, that's just what I was just doing. So frustrating. Now we're over time, but I'm going to finish this. Tool presets, no. Info. Character size. Brushes, channels, brush settings. Adjustments? Oh no. Dang, what is it called? Oh wait. It's here now. And this is what I wanted, but I want it on here. I want it up here. Put it in there. I don't need this libraries thing. There. That's weird. It brought me over here, but it wasn't there, but then it was there later. I'm so confused. Why? Why Photoshop? Okay. So let's fill with a similar color to my writing down here. It's very light though. I want as dark a color. There we go. Oh, maybe that's too dark. Okay, maybe I need this 3x3 average. Wow, that's like light brown, but I guess that's the color. Right. Well, just leave it. We do want this stroke, but we want the color to be similar to this outside color from the drawing. And we want it to be a 10 pixel wide stroke since we left 10 pixels there. And we want it on the outside, roundy and roundy. I don't know exactly what these do, but I like that they're roundy, so that's why I picked them. Actually, I'm going to choose a different color because it doesn't quite match. I chose it from by the flower, but it's clearly different down here. There we go. So I want these to, I want this to feel like it goes with the stuff it's next to. Alright, excellent. So now we're going to change the image size again to 1000 pixels on the shortest side, just for saving for web. So I'm going to save a copy, and this will be a ping. And we're going to call it for web. So this will be what I post on DeviantArt and in my VIP supporters Discord, probably on my Patreon, my blog. But we want to undo the save, undo the image size, because we don't want to save it that small as a Photoshop file. And the final thing I save it as, turn off the seal, save it at full size as a ping, because you never know what you might want it for. So I always just save one at full size. Just in case, saves me time later in case I want it for something. Boom. All right. Took a little extra 5 minutes to get that done, but it's great to finish my first week back of streaming by completing a Chibi. So Chibi, Steve the Otter, complete. Guess we could zoom in and do one final little look. Okay, that's a little bit too big. One final little look of Chibi, Steve the Otter. I'm really pleased with that name tag. I really like it. Just as I hoped. Just as I hoped. Alright, there we go. There's just a few of us today, so let's call it good here. Let's not raid. It's Friday. Time to relax and enjoy the weekend. Hopefully everybody watching is going to be able to relax and enjoy the weekend. I will be back next week, same time, same days as usual, as scheduled, with some illustrations starting on Wednesday. So I hope to see you then. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching.